Just a short time ago, the Mining Minister Gwede Mantashe is saying this was done in bad faith and that it's reckless. Is he right?
I don't think so. The platinum mining industry, the gold mining industry, they're in crisis. The deep level mines, they're just too expensive, and you get far cheaper mines like the bord and pillar operations, the open pit operations, which are a quarter of the cost, even less, of the deep level mines, and they're just not making profits anymore. And there's actually no. They've been trying to save jobs for many years now. At least Impala, for example, they've been holding back. Their total labour force is 42,000. They're cutting back to 27,000 in over 2 years, like you said.
Is this simply a consequence of a depressed platinum price, or the mines themselves, are they inefficiently run?
Both. The inefficiently run, not because of any reason other than they're deep. It's just very expensive, going down 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 meters to get a piece of ore out there. But the depressed platinum prices and the strength in the rand is also playing an important role. The stronger the rand, the more uneconomic those deep mines get.
It is de facto, Rene, you'll agree with me, a political issue as much as it is a mining and an industry issue. The mining minister saying a little earlier today that he was in the beginning stages of engaging with Impala Plats as a result of the difficulties that they're facing. One gets the sense, if you believe the minister, that this company might have jumped the gun, or did they simply have no choice but to act immediately?
They said at the announcement that they've engaged with the minister and with the NUM and Mr. Matunjwa. And I think this is really a political reaction from, bearing in mind that there's an election next year. This is a political reaction, and that's what the minister has to do. And the NUM also has to represent its members and criticize the company. But the company did not have a choice.
Is there any way of salvaging this, to bring that 13,500 down? Is there an opportunity, for instance, for state intervention in this respect? As a representative from the National Union of Mine Workers was telling me, or is this simply all a fait accompli now?
It's not a fait accompli. Tomorrow the rand might go to 14 or 15. There won't be any retrenchments. The platinum price might go to $1,000 or $1,200 an ounce, or the palladium price. There won't be any retrenchments. But if the opposite happens, the rand goes back to 11, God forbid, or the platinum price carries on going down to 807 or 700, there is no choice than to actually retrench. The way we see it at the moment, there's too much platinum on surface, there's too much palladium on surface. I estimate about 2 million ounces of platinum, about 4 million ounces of palladium sitting in some sort of vault somewhere, in some sort of ETF. The platinum and the palladium prices are not going to make much of a move, I estimate, for the next 3 or 4 or even 5 years. So what we're relying on is the rand to get weaker. That'll save jobs. If it doesn't get weaker, there's really no other choice.
So when the minister is quoted as saying that an organisation like Impala Platinum is simply acting in its own selfish interest, you would contend that again is rhetoric.
I think it's rhetoric. They are saving 27,000 jobs, if you look at it from that point of view. They can't save everything. At the moment, they've put in Section 189s, which means you get notice of retrenchment for 1,500 jobs. That's in the next year or so. The natural attrition rate, people retiring or going home or leaving for another job, is about 200 a month. That's 2,400 a year. So if they combine that with the Section 189s, things might not, work out to be 13,000 jobs over the next 2 years. There might be less, but you never know with the rand.
The tragic consequence of all of this is the impact on the community. Again, as the union was telling me a little earlier today, the ratio of one miner supporting 6 people, might be more, is catastrophic. It's more than that, you say.
Yeah. I estimate it's about 10. But, what do? Do you run the mines at a loss and then just say, okay, close them down? Or do you try and save as many jobs as possible? I mean, the total labour force in the mines at the moment is 450,000, more or less. That means 4.5 million people are relying on those those salaries, those jobs to survive. At least if you have a sort of a not regular, but regulated step-by-step cut down in jobs, and this should have been done years ago. And I blame quite a lot on the government and the new mining charter for allowing this to happen. Years ago, Anglo-Plats, for example, wasn't allowed to retrench, I think, 14,000 people about 5 years ago. And that should have been allowed, because we wouldn't be in the situation today where I estimate between Lonmin and Impala and Rustenburg section, we're probably going to retrench about 30,000 people in the next 2 years.
And if there's a similar decree from government now saying this simply can't happen, what happens then?
Well, then the mines just shut down. I mean, there's no choice. There's no choice.
And finally, do you see this as the start? I mean, given that 27,000 jobs are being saved, as you say, 13,000 to go, the rest of the industry is also facing severe pressure. More to come if that currency and production trajectory continues.
Yes. Yes. It depends on what promises are made with the elections next year. It depends on this land grab that's possibly coming without any compensation. That'll, people forget what happened in Zimbabwe when they started grabbing land. The currency went to pieces. There was nothing left, and that is the last thing that an investor wants to see. Nobody will invest in these mines if they perceive the likelihood of the currency going to zero.